Season 4 of Ninjago was loved by many people. There was a period where even I had it as my favorite season. That didn't really last for long, but I still think it's a decent season. However, with time I have come to realize that it's honestly flawed. It's definitely far from being bad, but there is a lot of room for improvement. In this video I decided to state every problem I have with Season 4, the tournament developments, and how I would fix it. Hello friends and welcome back to another video. For the people who ask why I chose this season in specific for a video idea like this, well honestly I just felt like this will be the most interesting season to talk about in this regard, as it is always seen as one of the best seasons, but I will try to make this formula for other seasons, maybe even all the seasons really. Also I want to say that this video will contain a bunch of criticism, but yeah, obviously I respect the writers a lot and I have nothing but appreciation to their hard work over the years, so this is by no means a video made to hate on them or their work. We are just doing this for fun. This looks to be a very lengthy video, so get ready. How I would fix Ninjago Season 4, the tournament developments. The setting they chose for the second Super Team War. A corridor. Really? That's like the worst location to have a war in. You'll end up using less than half of your forces and risking them failing because the people in the back couldn't even help them. Which is pretty much what happened. They most likely did this due to budget issues, but I still think they could have done a better job. And why are literal kids participating in the war? That's just too dumb. Even in the most desperate wars, they don't let kids fight. The whole battle felt like a letdown for me and expected something more exciting and triumphant. I simply fixed this by making the war take place in an open environment, have the elemental masters seek the help of the police instead of random citizens who have zero fighting experience, and make the war way longer than it is in the actual season. Next up we have Skylar, or the Kai and Skylar ship. This is easily Ninjago's most forced and poorly written ship. I'm happy that the writers learned from this and made Lloyd and Harumi in Season 8 a way better couple, but Kai and Skylar is really bad. This guy randomly sees this girl and they fall in love. There's no connection between them, nothing special, not even good chemistry. So it ends up feeling like the cheapest way to give Kai a love interest. They could have easily fixed this by making them relate for both having a missing parent and how they had to depend on themselves, which created many issues within themselves. And we see Skylar in the beginning not wanting to be with Kai because she never really got to trust a person her whole life, as her mother was seemingly dead and her dad is a psychopath. But Kai shows her that good people exist, and he tells her about how Nia stood up for him his whole life and was always there for him. This would have been a really deep and emotional journey, but they chose to make it a generic couple. This is the first season in the show where Cole gets some sort of legitimate subplot, not love triangle BS, and to be honest, this wasn't a great start for him. The story was pretty boring, and whenever it shows up in the episode, it slows the pace down a lot and just makes you wait for the transition to the tournament stuff. So I'll take this as the golden opportunity to explore the other elemental masters. I'll have him going from master to master and just talk to them and learn more about them, like the scrapped Camille story for example. And the context of this will be that right when he gets thrown into the factory, he starts thinking about a way to escape. So he goes to each eliminated elemental master and asks them to join his plan. At first they reject him, but then they get closer and they tell him about their past and why they joined the tournament in the first place. This will make for some of the most emotional interactions in the show and give character to each elemental master instead of having them there as characterless bodies. And will also make Cole's story in episodes 4 to 7 extremely engaging, instead of that boredom that we got. Our next point will be Lloyd and Kai. Honestly, I don't see why Lloyd had to be in the final round against Chen. He literally conveniently was the only person who wasn't captured by Chen in episode 40. Lloyd's role this season feels extremely forced as well, and he was already nothing but a MacGuffin chosen one for seasons 2 and 3, so there is no reason why he should play the same generic role this season as well. So I just fixed this by giving Kai the honors, which makes a lot more sense and it's a way better change from the last seasons like I said. So I'll have Lloyd either get captured this episode alongside Garmadon, or I'll have him lose in episode 38 to Camille. This will make Kai's story much better as well. Next up we have Kai's bed. I know that this is a small detail, but it really annoys me a lot how a bed in Kai's room can expose all of Chen's secrets. Is Chen really this dumb, or he didn't pay the workers who built the palace so they chose to make a random bed act as his secret place and expose him to everyone? It's one of those really strange things that happen in Ninjago that makes you question everything in Ninjago really. I'll just have the ninja find another way to access that place. I would have them break to Chen's private room and then find a secret passage from there, or maybe even Skylar's room, which would be a great hint to her being Chen's spy later on. And speaking of the spy, this also needs fixing. I feel like I should just name this video Rebooting Ninjago Season 4. But yeah, anyways, the spy plot is very predictable and non-impactful at all, so I'll fix this by first doing what I said about earlier about the Kai and Skylar couple, which will make the reveal of Skylar being a traitor a lot more shocking. Also, Shade here was just a plot device, so I'll make him intentionally make the ninja and the audience get convinced that he is the spy. I know that it's what happened in the season anyway, but the way they did it was absolutely stupid. Why did he even run away when they asked him to show his back? That's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. So I'll give him an actual reason to make them believe that. Maybe he was actually a spy, but then we find out that Shen never really trusted him, and used him to make the others believe that he is the spy as a cover-up for the actual spy who was Skylar, which will first make Shade's motives understandable, second make the reveal more shocking, and third make Chen a way smarter and deceiving character. But the whole spy subplot that we got was just not good. Now let's talk about Chen. His concept is really good, but his execution makes him way too goofy to the point that he just feels completely disconnected from reality. Whenever I saw him in the screen, I just feel like he's living in his own world. He doesn't know what's going on. He feels drunk all the time, so instead of having him be this childish and drunk, I'll make him very charismatic and clever, like Negan from The Walking Dead. If you watch that show, you'll get what I mean. Negan is always sarcastic and he's very energetic like Chen, but he actually feels very threatening and dangerous. He can cook you spaghetti today, then cut your guts out tomorrow. Of course, I won't have Chen cutting people's guts out, but I'll make him just as charismatic and predictable as Negan. And I'll add more plot points showing how deceiving he is, like the Shade plot that I just mentioned. I'll even show how he manipulated the Elemental Masters at the First Tibetan War, because we always hear people saying that Chen is very deceiving in the season, but we never saw him do something crazy enough to prove it. Collapse was also generally a great sidekick villain, but I think there was a lot of improvement that could have been done to him. We saw him being fed up with Chen's shenanigans many times during the season, but that really led to nowhere. So I'll have him actually turn against Chen in the end, or just do anything interesting really, not just get thrown away in a hole. And lastly, we have Cole vs Jay. I think this was a good fight overall, but the resolution was way too sudden. They went from expressing to each other how they can't wait to see the other person get yeeted out of the tournament to forgiving each other in literally less than 10 seconds. I know that they show that they still have empathy for each other right before the fight, but I still think that the confrontation needed a lot more dialogue to make the forgiving process visible to the viewer, not going from insulting to forgiving in 5 seconds. So it's just a dialogue problem here. There are countless other things I didn't mention, like how useless Kapow and Chop are and how I think they are just a waste of time, or how the dialogue between Lloyd and the other ninja in the first episode should have been a lot longer. But honestly, Ninjago isn't the deepest show out there, so if I go this far, this video will be 10 hours long. If it was up to me, I would change the whole tone of the season and everything about it, but I try to avoid discussing that as much as possible. Instead, I just try to fix the biggest plot points of the season. I know that it's a miracle that Ninjago ended up being this good, as it's supposed to be just an advertisement for Lego toys, but that doesn't mean I can't express my opinion on how I want this to be better. There's always room for improvement. So yeah, that was all. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to tell me in the comments what you think of this season 4 and what do you think of this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you next time.